Hello everyone, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of my app Wanderlust. I created this app to be kind of a travel companion for you and help you plan and organize upcoming trips. So we'll go ahead and get logged in here. And that takes us to kind of the home screen, which is what would pull up if you were already logged in. So we'll get started here. So this is a view of all of your upcoming and past trips. So we can edit a trip here, the name or dates, which will automatically update our itinerary. We could delete a trip, which I'm not going to do right now. And then any trip that has passed would show up this darker color. And so we'll look at that in a little bit. And then you can also add a new trip from this screen. So when you add a trip with, you have to have dates. You can always change those, but then that creates an empty itinerary for you to start planning some events. So let's go into this trip here I've been working on. So this is kind of our overall itinerary view. It has where you're staying that day, and then any events that you have added to those days will show up in this view as well. So then if we click on one of these days, we have a more detailed view of all of those activities. So your activities, it could be museums or tours or restaurants, those would all show up here. Transportation is any transportation, driving, ferry, flight would show up here. And then your accommodations where you're staying would show up right here with the reservation number and phone number. So if we go back to our itinerary, I wanted to add a restaurant to this day in Santorini. So from this activities screen, we can add, you just click what type of event it is. The restaurant is called Black Rock Restaurant. It is Mediterranean food. And we have our address right there. So this address is important because it goes to the back end and gets a geolocation for us so we can put it on our map, which I'll show you in just a minute. So that's important to have in there. Oh, this is the restaurant. We'll say we're going at about 6 p.m. to about 8. So we'll go ahead and create that. And then that shows up right there, and then it'll show up back here on our itinerary as well. So then if we go over to the See Map view, this is really just intended to be kind of a visual representation of all of the places that you have, places that you're going and places of interest that you've put in your itinerary. So if you zoom in here, you can click on these and it'll tell you what you're doing at that place. So the last part here is being able to look at past trips. So we'll go on to this trip to Yellowstone, which we did a couple years ago. So when you come in here, you can see your full itinerary, everywhere you went. And if you click on one of these days, you have that detailed view, much the same as before. But you can also go in and view comments, any stories you thought were exciting enough to write down, you can go back and read about, which I think is really great. To add a comment is just this button here while you're on the trip. And that is about it for our demonstration. We can log out right here.